So many people are currently extremely bearish on Bitcoin's outlook, as the sentiment is near a bottom, and most people that are not 100% sure about Bitcoin are already out of Bitcoin. They capitulated, which is a very interesting time because this is usually the window of opportunity where there's not a lot of downside left and a lot of upside in front of you. Now, I'm super bullish, but I found today a guest that is even a lot more bullish than I am. Derek not only brings an amazing perspective from being a fiat debt slave, which he describes very detailed in the podcast, but he is also a hyper bull on Bitcoin and tries to get out of his fiat trap with Bitcoin. And he wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin hits 400,000 US dollar this year. Enjoy. Why are you excited about Bitcoin, especially now in 2026?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And diving right in, I've been in Bitcoin since the end of 2023. And really, for the last 2 years, all the way up until about the end of 2025, it's been a pure investment to me, just playing what I like to call the stupid fiat game. I got into Bitcoin because I needed to take the fiat currency I had and make it more fiat. I was just looking to make a good trade. I was looking at the charts on Bitcoin. It was 30,000 a coin at the time. I put a large sum of money in. It did very well. That got me hooked on the fiat side of it. Like, wow, this has got some explosive power to it. That has been a journey over 2 years that has been incredibly enlightening with many revelations, many mountaintops, and currently many valleys. One might say canyons in the sense of playing with Bitcoin in terms of fiat. For instance, I went from essentially, quadrupling my money to lavish Christmas for my family, new bathrooms, new roofs, to then taking it to the extreme with leverage and going in that degenerate direction and now experiencing the canyons of the fiat side of Bitcoin. And what I'm excited about, Robin, in 2026 is that when I've experienced the canyon on the fiat side, I really had a revelation of like, what is this really about, Bitcoin? And especially in 2026, with the world really coming online in terms of disruption, chaos, barbarism, it's really opened me up to like the biggest possible picture, especially because I really am incredibly burned out on fiat at this point, which is a great thing because it's opened my eyes to a much bigger picture where Bitcoin really is something that, put it this way, Robin, I'm excited because not just for 2026, but for time moving forward, because Bitcoin's going to play a very relevant part in human civilization moving forward, where many things will disappear in the coming time, in the present, and moving forward. So much of what we are living right now will disappear. Bitcoin will remain, and so that's magnificent. That's why Bitcoin is beautiful. It will remain when so many things go away.
What do you mean with burned out on fiat? No fiat left, or like what do you mean by that?
Yeah, good question, man. Well, here I am, right? I'm a debt slave for basically going to school. I'm a chiropractor. I have a passion for treating people. I love health. I love manual therapy because I wrestled in high school. I just like getting my hands on people. I'm an empath, so I enjoy that connection with humans, to heal them with my hands and to heal them with like a very personal, physical, mental, and spiritual connection. I live in a country where you can't just do it, right? Like I naturally intuitively know how to do it, but I'm not allowed to because of bureaucracy and trades and whatnot. So I need to go to school. So to be able to do what I love to do legally, I had to essentially go into debt a good $150,000 of fiat, right? Because fiat is parasitic. It goes, "Oh, you love to do something? You love to treat somebody? How can I put you in debt and extract value from you?" So I'm a debt slave for simply having to do something I love to do in a system that wants to extract value out of me. So that's burnout number one, right? Another is, and I love my house. It's so beautiful, right? I need a home because ever since I was a kid, I wanted a wife and children. I want a family. You need a home to raise a family in. And once again, right? It's just more debt slavery. It's like, in order to have a roof over my head, I need a roof over my head. It's a very humble house. I'm not living in a mansion. That's another 260,000. That's actually $400,000 of debt. But because my wife and I are very like-minded people and were employed for 20 years straight, saving and doing nothing else, we were able to get that down to just $260,000 of debt because we had a large down payment. So basically, Robin, where I'm burned out is the fact that I'm sitting here $500,000 in debt, having never spent any money on anything other than just getting educated so I can help people and having a home to raise my family. Oh, and I've worked for 22 years on top of that. And the fact that somebody can work for 22 years, never take any lavish vacations, and just be purely Spartan in their living, do something they love and are raising a family, all beautiful things. And then there's this system that puts you $500,000 in debt for doing those things. It really burns you out on that system because you really feel the parasite living on you. And if it was just a little tick that I could pop its head off, I would do that. But this system is so powerful that it's honestly, I get why people break underneath it because it's just this thing on your back that isn't a physical thing. It's the whole system. It's brutal, man. Another reason I'm burned out on it is because in order to defeat this debt, right, you can't do it through work, in my experience. You can't possibly outrun it through just good, honest work. You can't earn the money it takes to defeat the debt, right? So then you have to essentially become a degenerate. The system turns you into a degenerate, um, which I'm happy to talk about in terms of like my Bitcoin experience, right? I've made all this fiat currency investing in Bitcoin when really Bitcoin's much more beautiful than that. But anytime we deal with Bitcoin and fiat, it turns into degeneracy, but it's necessary because I almost have to be a degenerate if I ever have any hope of defeating this fiat currency system that I'm in. So I'm pretty burned out, man. I'm burned out of the kind of person I have to be in the fiat currency system. I'm frustrated. I'm tired, and yeah, it's definitely made me a little jaded about the whole thing.
It's such a bad system because you described it very well. Like you are doing nothing but the best. You are like getting the house, you getting the education, you're doing all the things that you have been told is important to do, and then you're sitting there after 20 years of work, and you're like, oh man, like that. It all has kind of been for nothing. Like I still have the debt. I still have no real freedom. I have this house that have to keep working at, like a new bath, a new this, fixing a roof, fixing some plumbing, like whatever it is. And in the end of the day, yeah, you have the value of the house, obviously, but it's not going up nearly enough to cover for everything. And what do you do with it? And then you have like university is crazy, 150K for university to getting a degree just to do what you love. That so like the house, I still understand because you get the house, the value, obviously, like it's just like a credit trade. That's probably even there if we live on a Bitcoin standard, because there will always be some kind of form of credit. But who needs university with 150K degree right now? That's crazy for me. Like I started two universities. Luckily, I live in Austria, so like it literally does not cost anything. In Austria, it's actually the other way around. You almost get paid to study in Austria because you get all those benefits. Like you get cheaper MacBooks, you get cheaper access to like swimming centers and like health centers and all of that. So if you study, you get all this kind of cheaper stuff, and you don't have to pay for anything when you are studying. So in Austria, it's a good way of just like write yourself in as a student, get the student pass, and you get cheaper things in your life. But like it's a completely broken system for me, the whole education university system in Austria. But at least there's no debt for the individual. It's horrible for the state because they have to pay for all that with your tax money and inflation. And in the US, I hate it because of the individual side and not of the state side, which, yeah, it's both not good, but in different ways not good.
Yeah, you nailed it, Robin, and I love that you mentioned indeed, the mortgage is just you made a good point, right? Like, I'm happy to pay my mortgage. That, as you said, the real estate, you have the value, I get it. I can deal with that. Truly, when it comes to the education, and specifically, you often hear, "Oh, I got this, like, useless degree, and I'm $150,000 in debt," or however much in debt. Like, I'm not condemning that at all. I would say in my situation, right, I can learn how to do chiropractic on my own. I did not need to go to university to learn how to be a chiropractor. I have all the tools necessary to study anatomy, physiology, all the history of chiropractic written by previous chiropractors. I don't need to invest 1 cent in knowing how to do what I do. I just need to put the time, right? The proof of work, as Bitcoin is, into what I'm going to do, and then go let the free market decide if I'm worthy to treat you or not. But the system that is in place, the fiat system, says if you do that, I will put you in prison, which is what they did to the original chiropractor, D.E. Palmer. He was just treating people. He got way too popular because everyone loved his treatment. The American Medical Association was like taking a look at him and going, "Oh, no, 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 no. Like, we need to get this licensed, and you're treating all these people, and we're not getting our take out of it." And of course, probably the federal government too. And it just turned into what it is now, where I didn't go to university for, oh, I'm just going to go and experience it and do these classes and see where it goes. It's like, no, I needed to go. I finished college fast. I went late, but I finished quick because I had an objective. So, the fact that somebody like me who was laser focused, specifically going through university, uses his degree, it's immediate work, right? I'm using my degree, is still in that much amount of debt, had to pay that much amount of money. It's very obviously parasitic because with me, it's not the case of, oh, I went to school and earned a useless degree. It's no, no, no. I'm putting absolute use to what I do. It's just the system is preying on my time, my skill, my effort, my proof of work, right? I didn't need to spend those 6 years doing getting licensing and degrees. Not to say that it wasn't a meaningful experience. If the system was like yours in Austria, where that 6 years there was more support for the student, thank you. We're investing in you. We're happy that you're becoming a doctor. We're happy you're going through the correct avenue. So you're using the university, you're right. And then being a little bit more give and take. Instead, it's just like, no, hey, let's just take everything from you during this time. Oh, charge you interest too, by the way, while you're going to school. So we tack on an extra 30K at the end of it all. It's an exploitive system, Robin. It's an exploitive system.
And you, I think, told me before that you have written, or not written, read the Bitcoin standard, and you have some like new interesting learnings, which is very interesting because you live so closely to the fiat system and you actually see it, and you're a Bitcoiner. What have you kind of seen?
Yes, I love that you mentioned that. Okay, so there we go. The Bitcoin standard, right? I never read it. And basically, in 2025, I had a religious experience because a true religious revelation on Bitcoin because my first 2 years in Bitcoin, when I just owned Bitcoin, self-custodied it and whatnot, right? Beautiful experience. It just happened to be in one of those times where it was also going up in fiat. I just had all this hope that I could wipe out my fiat currency debt, right? What's crazy about the fiat currency debt is it is so great that even with the returns on Bitcoin, and I'll get into with the Bitcoin standard just how fiat influences your behavior as a human being. Essentially, I got punished very bad, and I'm accounting for that 100% by leveraging the Bitcoin, right? Doesn't matter how I did it. I just went the leverage route, heavy leverage route, because with good intention, and good intentions are the road to hell. With the intention of, I just want to run this number up so high that I could just get rid of this fiat debt, and I'm happy to cycle back into Bitcoin and just have this monkey off my back. Of course, we all know 2025 in terms of fiat terms. didn't quite go that way, right? So instead, I found myself with my Bitcoin stack gone, and on top of that, right, my fiat currency at that all-time low. And I was really like, wow, just like I told you last time, at the end of the podcast, whenever you are experiencing suffering, look for the lesson. Always look for the lesson. I thought, what's the lesson in this? And it's like, well, the lesson is, what's this really about? And fortunately, I had heard of the Bitcoin standard. I'm like, I need to read this book. I think it'll just kind of set me straight and give me a better perspective on what this is all about. And starting from there, Robin, you know, what I'd like to move on to is there's me as an individual, but ultimately, I think what we're doing here, and this is influenced by reading the Bitcoin standard, is we live in a world currently that is essentially collapsing and coming to an end as we know it. So the reality is actually that whether I'm in debt or not in debt, or I'm a fiat millionaire or billionaire or a bum on the street, to be honest with you, it's kind of like the times of Jesus. Everything as we know it is very quickly and maybe also very slow at the same time coming to an end. And so there are systems in play that will still be in play when that happens, and there will be systems that are gone. And the system that will still be in play is Bitcoin. And the reason I say this and have this revelation is because Bitcoin is it's perfect money. And I'm going to say a lot of things, Robin, that I know you know, but my goal moving forward is essentially to support the network through education. People need to be educated on the fundamentals of Bitcoin and what it is and why this system is forever moving forward, the system, and will be the system once this system collapses, the fiat currency system. And it all comes down to right in the beginning of the book. And I've taken notes, but I'll start with my first notes. It's the most beautiful thing. And I just want to speak to anybody watching this podcast. Please, it's free. Google Bitcoin standard PDF and read it. It doesn't cost you 1 cent, it just costs you your time. And even if you only read the first 30 pages, you're going to be pretty squared away, because right away, the author talks about what perfect money is and why the money that we have today has led to continual cycles of collapse and destruction, including gold. And it all comes down to a concept right off the bat called salability. I'd never heard this word before. It's a beautiful word. So salability is basically money, in order for it to achieve perfection, should be perfect in scales, space, and time. So the reason why Bitcoin is perfect money is because it has the scales. It can be broken into higher and lower units, right? It's divisible. Fiat currency does that well. Gold does that terribly. So fiat matches Bitcoin on that slightly. Bitcoin's still better. Gold is terrible. Space, can you transport it? What's the value per unit? Can it move from one point to another quickly, right? Fiat, once again, does a decent job, especially digital fiat, because it can go from one end to another at the speed of light. Bitcoin matches it. Once again, you can send Bitcoin anywhere around the world faster than fiat. I could send you money, Robin, in 20 minutes. It'd take me weeks to send you even digital fiat. And then time, right? The store of value, where fiat just gets wrecked on this, just disgustingly wrecked on the time. Whereas gold, and the reason why gold has still been relevant, it holds its value over time due to its physical properties being non-corrosive. But Bitcoin being electricity, right? Being the blockchain, which is essentially just like cemented in the internet, again, is superior. So really, if everyone could just understand that, what is money, right? What makes money perfect, and just understood the word salability. Is it divisible? How divisible is it? How can it move through space? And how can it hold its value? As soon as you kind of clicks that Bitcoin at its most fundamental level hits all those three things at perfection, and that word is unachievable, at perfection, you realize, wow, we have perfect money. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's you can get in so many details. You know, like you can get in so much like of the details of like what Bitcoin is, the Bitcoin news, and what's currently happening. But I think it's super important that we zoom out and say Bitcoin is perfect. It's running exactly the course it is supposed to be running. It's in price discovery mode. It's just doing what it's supposed to be doing. And we are very focused on the near term. We're very focused on what will Bitcoin do in the second quarter of 2026. Will it go up or down? Will it be crashing or booming in September of 2026 this year? Like, should I put my call options in or my put options? What should I do with the price? We are so focused on those little things, where if you really focus on what's important is all the things you've saying, all the things that you have learned throughout this over 700 episodes of podcasting, where Bitcoin is amazing, fiat is horrible. Have more Bitcoin, have less fiat, don't play fiat games, don't leverage, don't do all those things, and just like be in Bitcoin, DCA every day, week, month, whatever is your cadence, and just like get into a nice position. And don't be fancy with altcoins. Don't be fancy with people trying to sell you something to get more Bitcoin. Most likely it won't happen. I mean, we can talk about MSTR and STRC. I think we should touch on that later on. But it's very simple once you actually get it. And I'm doing this strategy of just like DCAing into Bitcoin for 6 years, and it completely transformed my life. And I still have a little debt, which is like almost nothing compared to what I have on assets, which is amazing. It just takes a little bit time. I actually cannot get out of this debt. I actually have to like slowly build it off. So it will just take a few years to get it off. But I could just like pay it off like today and just like get rid of it, and it would feel so much better. Even though it's such a small amount, it's like Bitcoin has to fall like, I think, 95% to get under the value of my credit. So it's like a very small amount, but it still bothers me that I have it. And it's low interest. It's even like very nice that it's like very low interest. It's like 5%, 6%, like which is amazing. I should like every logical mind says like, don't sell the debt, like just keep it, because if you have to sell a small portion of your Bitcoin to cover the debt, it's not worth it. Like the trade is going bad. But my emotional side, the Robin inside that wants to sleep good and just like build a family, build a great podcast, build a media empire, build companies, provide value for society, he just wants to get rid of that freaking debt.
Robin, I love that, man. And this leads me to a couple statements on that. First, debt is death. Debt is death. I think Mark Hanna said that. I really like when he's on your show. He's fun, and he says some very wise things. Debt is death. And I don't care if it's asset debt or liability debt, honestly. Growing up, in the United States, there's, of course, debt like I have, which is just pure liability, just accumulates against me. But then there's asset debt too, right? Where you have this debt that's generating profit and whatnot. I don't care. It's death either way, because you have to be so accountable to it. And that debt belongs to some custodian or some organization. It's slavery, Robin. And I don't care if you're a slave in the palace with your personal jet, with all of your debt making you money, you're still a slave. Or if you're like me and you're, and I don't mean to offend anybody, it's just a little bit offensive, but it's kind of an antebellum analogy, right? Because the United States had the worst form of slavery, antebellum slavery, where, you're out essentially in the fields just getting beaten by the debt. It's still slavery either way. So debt is death. And the Robin that just wants to be done with that makes sense, because, everything you just described, Robin, and, you and I are two opposites of a coin, because you're a young man who has lived by the Bitcoin standard, now coming into probably like half or a third of your life, right? And the Bitcoin standard compared to the fiat standard really comes down to, and this is something the Bitcoin standard book does so well, and I'll read a portion of it right here. No matter how circumstances conspire against a man with low time preference, meaning somebody who looks far out into the future, 6 years, 60 years, 600 years, that's a low time preference. If you're an individual with a low time preference, you're planning for the future. You're willing to sacrifice the present for the future. He will probably find a way to keep prioritizing his future self until he achieves his objectives. And no matter how much fortune favors the man with a high time preference, somebody who needs right now, right here, he will find a way to sabotage and shortchange his future self. So when somebody is so embedded in, and this had to change my life because I've really been very hard on myself for my behavior when it came to Bitcoin in the last year, right? But the truth is when you're so embedded in the fiat standard, I mean, I've lived on the fiat standard my whole life, Robin. I've been in Bitcoin 2 years, right? I've been in fiat for 37 years. It's a high time preference mindset. It's very hard to overcome. And what that does is it creates the behavior of desperation, right? Barbarism, chaos, I've destroyed a lot. I've been a barbarian a lot because of my fiat standard that I've lived under. And it's who I am in many ways. And I'm like always working on destroying that in myself. You, on the other hand, you've been in Bitcoin long enough and, from a young enough age too, that's who you are, right? We're the opposite. You have very little debt. You're very responsible. Look at your health. You're glowing. Look at me. I'm balding. I'm over here dying. You're thriving. You're eudaimonia. I'm suffering. You're Bitcoin standard. I'm fiat standard. It's everything it has to do with it, and it has everything to do with the quality of money. This right here is a beautiful when let's see, it's history shows. So then here's just to bring it back home to that talking about salability, right? So okay, cool. Bitcoin's perfect money. Who cares, right? Well, it's like actually it's pretty darn important. It might actually be the single most important thing for humans. History shows that a sound monetary standard is a necessary prerequisite for human flourishing, without which society stands on the precipice of barbarism and destruction. Period. Amen. Humans need money to operate. It doesn't matter if you're a hunter-gatherer and your money is social capital, right? Your reputation, or you're in a society like we are where there's billions of us. We always need money. And that money, the more sound it is, the more perfect it is. And the Bitcoin standard lays it out very perfect, studying all the monies that have ever existed and determines that it comes down to the salability and a couple other things like stock to flow ratio. When the money's perfect, humans, it's a prerequisite for human flourishing, which the Greeks call eudaimonia, right? Like, what was the greatest civilization? Arguably, it was Greece. And they were built on one fundamental that every human being should achieve eudaimonia, human flourishing, right? Like you just mentioned, you want to build media companies. You have your flourishing ideas, right, Robin, that you want to see come true, eudaimonia, right? And they're coming true because you're on the Bitcoin standard, right? I'm out here, man, on the fiat standard. Thank God I have the most beautiful, gorgeous wife and the most beautiful, gorgeous children. I'm so grateful. Dude, you're looking at the most blessed man you'll ever see in your life. I'm flourishing, right? I've got that. It's cool. If I drop dead of a heart attack right now, it's okay. I got my beautiful, I had, all the basics were met. But otherwise, it's like, oh my God, man, financially and everything else, I'm just fighting for my life. It's not flourishing. It's more like just pure survival mode, pure barbarism, pure chaos. I would do anything, Robin, to just survive. I would, and that's what it creates, right? Unsound money creates chaos and barbarism. Me. Sound money creates flourishing. You.
If you live in Europe like I do and want to buy Bitcoin the right way, check out Relai. Relai is a Bitcoin-only platform with no distractions, no shitcoins, just a BTC. It's also the easiest way I've found to do what actually works, buying Bitcoin on a consistent basis. Relai is also self-custodial. They never have the keys to your Bitcoin. No freezing of your assets, no counterparty risk, no rug bullying whatsoever. I have been a long-term fan of Relai, not only because it's incredible, easy to use and very beginner friendly, but also because it just works. If you want to get started with Relai today, click the link down in the pinned comment or in the description. And once you have downloaded the app, type in Robin in the referral code section of the app to save 10% on fees. So set up your DCA Bitcoin plan today with the Relai app and get cheaper Bitcoin if you use code Robin. With Microseed, you can engrave your 12 or 24 word seed phrase, the entire seed phrase, onto a 1-inch small washer. Yes, just one washer. All 24 words on that one washer. You can hide that thing everywhere. And even better, you don't need to buy a new kit every time you have to get a new wallet. You can make unlimited backups because Microseed is not selling the washer. Microseed is selling the device that stamps the washer. So you get the full kit with the device, with the washers, with the hammer, with everything you need to get started today. And you can make with that unlimited amount of backups. Go now to microseed.io. Finally, we have BTC Prague back in 2026. And this year, I'm not only speaking on a panel, but I'm actually going to present an interesting new angle, a perspective, a Bitcoin thesis at BTC Prague this year for the first time ever. I've never done that on any other conference, so this will be a fun one. If you listen to this show on a regular basis, I would love to meet you in Prague this year. It's very high signal, no noise, and Prague is just a freaking amazing city with awesome drinks and a lot of good food. Use code Robin to get 10% off, and if you buy with Bitcoin, you get an additional 5% off your ticket price. I'll see you there in Prague. Make sure to come say hi. You're too kind. Thank you so much. But small secret I've been keeping from my audience. I'm starting to bald also. No, it's literally nothing. But it's like I see it back here. If I'm looking very closely, I'm like, I can see a bald spot in like 5 years here.
Robin, it's okay. If it's a slow process, you'll slowly embrace it. I was fortunate where it started. You're what, 27?
Yeah, 27 exactly, actually.
There you go. Yeah, right when I hit 27, I actually looked in the mirror and I saw just this little spot. And I remember I was like, I would take a picture of it with my camera and then compare. I'm very vain, Robin. I'm very vain.
I did that too. I literally did that this week.
Hey, you're just going through the healthy process of a genetic, path, Robin. It's totally healthy behavior. It's okay, man. Everything will be okay. It's all happening as planned. And if you know what, you still got a good, trust me, you're good for another 10 years at least. So you don't have to worry about it. And then by the time 10 years from now, you won't even care. So it's all good.
I wanted to show you now, but I don't find it. It's been, I think, a week or something like that. Maybe I'll find it and just show it to you. But it's I literally did that because I was thinking like this is one part of my health. Like having hair health is like one part of it, and it's going bald is something like so common. It's like it's almost like every single man has it, and there are like a few exceptions that don't have it. For starting from some age. And if you look very closely, man over like 40, over 50, it's very hard to find men that have like perfect hair. It seems to be like it's just like a very normal thing. And there's actually something I've read about that, I think a couple of years back, where the hair had function back in the day. That's why we had a lot. Now the hair has less function on our head, and that's why it's like we're balding every generation a little bit more, because the hair is more just for deco there and less for actual function. But that's a whole nother podcast. I just wanted to mention it. It's even if the hair looks good from that point of view, it can look not that good from that point of view.
Indeed, Robin. I love it. No, it's a worthy topic to discuss. And you know what? If you end up being vain, look at Elon Musk, right? You can just get a full head of hair now cosmetically anyways. It's no big deal. But you are right. We are evolving out of our hair. We'll be like little aliens here in probably the next 1,000 years, just hairless mammals walking around. That's cool. Less maintenance.
Elon Musk is, I think, an amazing example of how money can actually make you beautiful. I'll just bring it up because I think it's crazy if you see the difference there. I'll show this to for the people that have the screens turned on or have access to that. This is it's just absurd. Like the guy on the left is also Elon Musk, and he's like 20 years younger than the guy on the right, and he's also Elon Musk. Somehow magically, he has a way better jawline. He has a way better hair. He looks just like 10 times better. And yeah, it, it's there has been, I think he has been doing more than just his hair. I think there has been more
Yeah.
done to his face also.
No, I would agree, Robin. God bless him, man. I'm happy for him. Good for him. Let the body reflect the soul, right? Beauty. Good for him. Poor guy. Gosh. Crazy.
Yeah, I can only imagine the stress that he went through building all those companies and putting so many hours. Like I think like the stress that normal people like us plebs experience is like nothing to what he has gone through, and he
Yeah,
really earned the baldness on his head. Like he earned that like really
indeed.
hard.
Yeah, he earned the baldness and also then eventually the reconstructuring and back to gorgeousness again. Good for him. Yeah, crazy.
Absolutely. I wanted to get to definitely also MSTR and STRC, which is strategy and the preferred stock they have, or like the product. I call it always a product, but it's a preferred stock and equity. The STRC, the stretch that they also have. Out of a few reasons. The first reason being that you blessed me last time with saying I'm very pure and like all of those things. And now I am starting to accumulate strategy. and, and
Welcome
I've,
to the party, Robin.
and I just wanted to talk with you about that process, but just from a pure fundamental standpoint, how do you currently look at strategy, especially with your new perspective on rewriting or rereading the Bitcoin standard, and has the few kind of changed with that, like just like get Bitcoin and like have that better money, and not get fancy, not get like into stocks and any derivatives like that, or how do you look currently at that strategy?
Yeah, I love it, man. And this is a tough conversation that you know what I might as well have with you because, well, when it comes to strategy, here's the thing. It's it's definitely, I think right now, and this is just purely speculative, right? Like if I'm removing all the emotion and just looking at it objectively, and you have a certain amount of fiat currency and you want to put it somewhere to make it more fiat currency, I think right now strategy is sitting on essentially a rocket to Mars. I think in terms of fiat currency, I'm seeing Bitcoin. I am like not even this year, 2026. I think Bitcoin is sitting on. See, here's the thing, Robin. So, in the last year, anybody who has been a degenerate like me is also in the degenerate community, right? Trillions, literally trillions have been wiped out of leverage over the last year. I'm serious, trillions, because even the plebs are getting wiped out at like a six-figure level. You've got whales getting wiped out in the billions. All of it accumulation over a year or so has been trillions lost. And that's just emptying into rocket fuel, right? That's going to eventually go the other way, especially with, and I've learned this from your podcast, all the things coming up this year. The US has a lot of debt it needs to address. The money printer is just going to be flying even more than ever with the wars going on, Social Security, Medicare. I mean, there's just such a high demand for US dollars in need right now to pay for all these things. You have, I think, a cataclysm coming for the Bitcoin price itself. I mean, I would be very surprised if Bitcoin didn't achieve something in the 300s to 400s by the end of this year. Just to say, I mean, again, purely speculative, but I'm thinking 4 or 5x gains coming in on Bitcoin. With that being said, strategy, if you look at when it took a dump last time, when anyone was at like 100 in strategy and it went down all the way to like 20, 80% drawdown, right? After that 80% drawdown, once Bitcoin began its run again, strategy went up like 25x at that point, right? So if this all plays out like I think it's going to play out this year, and again, we're just having fun with short time preference, right? Just being degens, because this is degenerate territory. That's my fundamental philosophy. When you ask, has my perspective changed? Yes, right? When we start talking about anything other than Bitcoin and just holding Bitcoin and learning cold storage and learning running a node and learning mining, we're now degenerates because we're playing in a system that's collapsing, whether it's tomorrow or 80 years. We're just barbarians trying to survive in a stupid system, and that's fine. Welcome to my party. Welcome to my club. Focusing on that, I think strategy. If you aren't going to be in Bitcoin, then yeah, if you're going to play the fiat game, there's no better company than to throw your towel in with or your side in with than strategy. Particularly right now, the drawdown has happened. All the degens have been wiped out, right? We're all sitting on 80, 70, 80, 90%, 99% losses, depending on how you played your leverage play. There's only gains to be had, right? Strategy's had an enormous drawdown. It's rocket fuel time, Robin. And that's how that company operates. I think a lot of us, I call us like second generation strategy, right? There's the very first people who were just in, and they experienced that first drawdown and then the explosion. They got paid and they got out. And now the second generation of us who came in all raw, anywhere from like $300 to $500 on the stock price, thinking it's going to 2000. We got hit with that 80% drawdown again, right? That's what this company does. It's built in a way that it really follows Bitcoin. Bitcoin has these drawdowns and then these explosions. Bitcoin draws down 50% and then it explodes, 5x. It's beautiful, really. Strategy is amplification of that. It draws down 80% and then it explodes 25x. So if you're looking to be and I have to use the word, it's degenerate. I have to say that because I want people to know exactly what they're getting themselves into when they play this game. You play the Bitcoin game, you're beautiful, you're pure, as I told you last time, right? There's nothing more pure than Bitcoin. It's perfect money. Bitcoin and cold storage, when you're running a node and mining and learning the Bitcoin network to increase its acceptability, you're setting up human flourishing for the next generation, right? You want to play degen and come over and just fight with the barbarians trying to survive the here and now. That's admirable too. We are where we're at. And if that's where you're at, as I am, then indeed strategy is the way to go. If you're looking to multiply your fiat, granted, you got to have basically a Zen. I mean, you have to almost be religious, Robin, because you're going to be essentially, the market has to almost be a mirror of yourself, right? You're going to be going through drawdowns that'll make you. I see people now, 5%. I love X. Bitcoin goes down 5%. What happened? And it's like, oh, it's like 5%. You want to start playing with strategy and even especially leverage, 5%. That's just like, you won't even. That's George Washington when a bullet flies past his head. He's unmoved. Like, you're going to have to drop a nuclear bomb on me to get my emotions to move at this point. So it's a powerful company, man, and it's an amazing company. I also think that at the same time, it's timing. It's no, you know what? It's not. It's not timing. It's, if you're gonna go strategy, you have to treat it just like Bitcoin. You're in for the long haul. It's all long, right? That's the thing with my leverage position, Robin. I may be down, but I'm not out, right? I mean, I'm just degenerate at this point. I'm like, okay, if I can go down that much, once this keg does go off, I'm going back in the other direction. You have to be diamond hands more than anything if you go strategy, because you could just wake up and you're at an 80% drawdown and now you're in for the long fight, just like you are with Bitcoin. But with Bitcoin, it's like a flight that's smooth sailing, right? No turbulence. You're drinking, you're having fun. Yeah, you might dip a little bit here and there, but it's a smooth flight and it's only going up, right? You want to play strategy, you better be ready for. You're no longer on a commercial flight. You're the 101st Airborne going into Normandy with bombs blowing up around you, and it's all or nothing. No, but it's a great company, man. And just to hit up on STRC, I've only learned about STRC from watching your podcast. And I think it's awesome for people who just already have all the fiat currency they could ever need and just simply want to outrun inflation or match inflation. I mean, you can't have a better product to just be making what, like 10, 11% on the money. I get these little ads, these banks, right? 3, 4%. I'm just like, are you kidding me? There's a product out there that you could just buy into right away with no commitment, right? You could sell it at any time you want. That's just going to give you 10, 11% back on your cash. Beautiful, awesome product that if I'm ever in a position that I have a large sum of fiat, I would totally just hold some STRC 100% and just let that run. If I wasn't a debt slave anymore, that'd be a great product to go. I'll tell you this though, Robin, and I've already spoken enough. I would not own MSTR if I wasn't a debt slave because I'm done on the ride. I'm good. I'm looking forward to getting off one day. I can't get off the ride right now. I need to ride it out to the end. 0 or a million, baby. The mission has not changed. Um, I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't ride the MSTR roller coaster. Even with all the faith in the world that that company will be a 1 trillion, 10 trillion, $100 trillion company, maybe tomorrow. Honestly, I want no part in it. I just want to be out of debt. So just depends on your goals, man, whether you're someone like me who just wants to get out of debt slavery, or maybe you're somebody who wants a yacht and a row of cars. Yeah, go strategy, just be ready for the roller coaster ride.
I don't know if it connects well to what you just said, but I just thought about it because I did the calculation recently and I would have been significantly more wealthier right now if I would have never sold a single asset that I bought. This is a hard thing because you always think you're smart. You always think like you're moving this and here and like it's so much better. Like you could get more here and there. But I always only bought assets that I believed in the long run. And all the assets that I ever bought, except one, has been doing good actually till now. Very good. And I would have saved so much on taxes. I would have saved so much on commissions and fees and moving things around and making mistakes. If the sell button on any asset that I've ever bought would have not worked, I would have been better up right now, which is a crazy thought to have. I would have maybe had less Bitcoin, but I had wealth in other assets then. And so I don't know how this relates to what we just discussed. I just had that thought in my mind of just riding things through to the end and benefiting from that long-term outlook. If you are in an asset that is for the long haul, like don't ride Dogecoin to the end because you will actually run it to the 0 crown. So like don't do that. Get out of that. But like stay with the assets that you believe in long term and don't change it just because you think there's another asset that gets me 5% more or 10% more or something like that. The most important thing for your Bitcoin journey is not buying Bitcoin, but it's how to keep them. And yes, you have maybe the right tools, but how do you actually go ahead and stick it all together so it's the most secure for you personally? Self-custody is a deeply personalized journey, and the Bitcoin way is helping you exactly finding that correct setup for you personally. They are also helping you with securing your own cybersecurity. And if you want to go one step above all that, you can even get a consultation for a Plan B residency. Go to thebitcoinway.com/Robin and you will get a 30-minute free consultation. I finally and officially mine Bitcoin. This is not just something to stack more Satoshis, but it's most importantly also to support the network. Individual miners are the ones that keep the Bitcoin network decentralized. And by the way, you get KYC free Bitcoin. That's why I use Simple Mining. I get an actual proper Bitcoin miner. They set it up for me. They repair it if it breaks down. And most importantly, they let me choose the pool and even connect my own full node. I'm completely sovereign and I'm completely in control, and I can sign up with Ocean, no account needed. I just give them a Bitcoin address and then there's mining going on. No KYC, nothing. So if you're ready to mine Bitcoin, go to simplemining.io, tell them you come from Robin, and let's mine Bitcoin together.
Oh man, it totally relates, Robin, and you're 100% correct because in many cases, like let's take all the people at the end of 2024, right? Like me, who see what you're describing a lot. What happens, Robin, is something called hubris, which is thinking you can't be defeated, right? And here's what happens in Bitcoin. You get into Bitcoin, and if you are like me, where you get in at a time that is just it just happens to be the right timing, right? It does that we have so little control. We think we know what we're doing, and the difference between an ingenious and an idiot is just a random 2 or 3 month period where somebody bought this time, somebody bought that time. The reality is, like you said, it's all about holding something long that you would hold for the rest of your life, that you could buy at a value, right? Because what happens with something like Bitcoin is you'll buy some Bitcoin, and then let's say you're in it for a couple years, and all of a sudden you 4 or 5x what you put in, you feel like a genius. You're like, oh my God, I'm like the greatest investor in the world. 5x? Oh my God. Okay. So now that I know I'm a genius, what can I do to make that even more amplified? Because obviously I know what I'm doing, right? And then you go and you get yourself in trouble by doing exactly what you said. You sell the asset that perhaps you just should just stick with it. And then you start getting into something else because, again, you think that you're a genius and you actually know what you're doing when the asset that you had was perfect. And, to answer your question, absolutely. I think all the people um, who were holding Bitcoin at the end of 2025, or I'm sorry, end of 2024, and now they look at their portfolio, whatever they left Bitcoin for, right? The Bitcoin is definitely worth more than the position that they went to. Almost guarantee that. Not to say that that position might one day catch back up to Bitcoin or outrun it, which is kind of the whole degenerate leverage theory that you play with. But you're so right, Robin. And you know what? I'll add into that I think that the most successful way to invest, at least the times that I've done well, is look for value and look for buying something that you would hold the rest of your life, right? And Bitcoin right now, what I used to do is when I love to trade stocks, is I would look for a stock that was at the same price or lower than what it was, say, a year before, 2 years before, 3 years before, 4 years before, 5 years before. That was also a quality asset, right? So an example is literally Bitcoin right now. I mean, I think the price this morning is it's 69,000 a coin. You can essentially get into Bitcoin right now in 2026 for roughly the same price as it was, what, 5 years ago, almost close to 5 years. You're saving 5 years time where you didn't miss any of that time. Insane value, man, to be able to buy an asset that is at the same price as it was 5 years ago and not have missed any of that time, other than maybe if you held it now, you have long-term capital gains. On top of that, so that's the value perspective. On top of that, of course, it's a value you would and should hold for the rest of your life, so long as you don't let the hubris get to you or the greed, or it really depends on, again, how much are you in the fiat standard and how much are you in the Bitcoin standard. And if you're on the Bitcoin standard, you really are someone who just holds the Bitcoin and stays with the Bitcoin. When you leave the Bitcoin, you can't go anywhere but fiat standard, Robin. I mean, whether you go into real estate or stocks, whatever, it's either Bitcoin standard and it's Bitcoin, or it's fiat current, or it's fiat standard, everything else. So it is pure to be on the Bitcoin standard. I do want to add a nuance to that, though, with the wider picture. I don't think right now in the world, the way it's going, that being rich, I think, means nothing in terms of financially rich. It's a dying world. It's a dying society. It's a collapsing world, right? This happens. These things happen. I love the book Changing World Order by Ray Dalio. I love this YouTube channel called Predictive History by this man named Professor Zhang. These are guys who have looked at 10,000 civilizations. They've looked at all of human history, and they've just noticed that humans spiral upwards, right? We're always climbing, but there's times where we have downtrends. And right now we are in a time of collapse and downtrend. Hey, get your Bitcoin stack, make your fiat currency, all that good stuff. It's important. I'm not saying it isn't, but what's most important is realizing that I think financial wealth in this world, while important, it's so fleeting. because it's all coming to an end. It is. Our lives, even in our lifetime, Robin, will look so different. It's all coming to an end. So it's really like, what's the system that will continue on moving forward, right? Which is, of course, the Bitcoin network, right? So while it's important to increase your stack, have as much Bitcoin as you possibly can and everything else, it is more important to what? Spread the word. This right here, Robin, might be the most significant thing I say, and I need to really dial in on this. So let's take one of the most successful systems, and I'm just being unbiased here and unobjective. It's honestly, this is where I can compare it to Christianity. Okay, Christianity survived 2,000 years. It has survived multiple changing world orders, right? The world has collapsed many times and spiraled upward. Christians are there all the way through. Whether we're not looking at it like through theology or anything, it's just a system that has maintained. The reason that system has maintained for so long was because there was an individual named Paul, right? There was this guy named Paul where after Jesus' time, Paul saw this opportunity to create this system that could essentially last the test of time. And what he did and focused on was essentially zealot word spreading, zealot education, zealot getting the word out. This was a guy who was like rolling into places around the world and pushing Christianity so hard that they were like stripping him butt naked and whipping him and stoning him and getting ready to kill him. And while it was happening, he was saying, "Thank you, I'm doing it for the," like that's how zealot he was in spreading the word. And it worked. The people were like, "My God, look at this maniac!" Like, no, we'll be on board with you then, man. I know that's an extreme example, but the point I'm trying to make is the world we live in is collapsing. All these systems are going away. You could have all the mansions and all the rows of cars, and God bless you if you do. I'm not condemning you. It's all fleeting. It's all pointless when all of this comes crashing down. What will survive is the systems that we educate people on, that have the ability to withstand the test of time. And the reason, and they can't be ambiguous and they can't be vague. Christianity has lasted so long because there's nothing vague about it, right? Paul rolls in and says, listen, this is guy's the Son of God. When you die, you go to heaven. You believe in it's so convicted. It's so not vague. It's so just boom, boom, boom. It's salability, right? He's hitting all the marks. So he knows the system's going to survive because it has conviction and it's a closed loop. It's done. That's Bitcoin. That's Bitcoin right now. It's like we have to educate people from. I get that not everybody can be zealot about it, but in reality, it needs as many zealots as it can have. People who are like Paul, who are like, no. This is the money. This is the perfect money. Here's the reason why. There's nothing vague about it. There's nothing ambiguous about it. Perfect money for this reason, this reason, this reason. It's very easy to explain. And everyone needs to know that this exists, and everyone needs to start to transition towards this system because this is going to be the system moving forward that we use for money. Period. Amen. Everything else is garbage. Everything else is degeneracy. And just be perfectly clear about that. And that is what keeps Bitcoin going moving forward, far beyond our lifetimes, our children's lifetimes. This is what, imagine 1,000 years from now when people are paying in Satoshis or whatever. It's like, damn, we're the guys at the beginning, Robin. We're literally like the people who, if Nakamoto was Jesus, right, and now he's gone, we're like the disciples going forth into the world and straight up like willing to just be like, yeah, this whole system is garbage, man. This is all like collapsing. This is the money. And just being so convicted in it. That's Bitcoin, man. And that's a true Bitcoiner. Regardless of where you're at in the process, just as soon as you understand it, you get it and you vouch for it, right? And you become a Bitcoiner. Yes, this is the way. This is the truth. This is what we do moving forward. That's more important than any stack. That's more I think my greatest accomplishment in Bitcoin, Robin, is I go at times on a full just zealot education spree. And if I can get one person, two people, three people just to go, man, that's interesting. I'm going to read that book or I'm going to think more about this. It's like, damn, I got one. I created another Bitcoiner. I got another Bitcoiner here. I got another Bitcoiner here, right? The whole pay it forward system. And it's beautiful and it's noble because it all comes back down to human flourishing. So we know we're being noble because if perfect money is the prerequisite for human flourishing, and you're going around and being a disciple for perfect money, you're being a disciple for human flourishing. And that's as righteous as it gets. And you don't have to die to get that. You can do that here and now. And that legacy will outlive all of us.
It's a peaceful revolution, as you said. Like, you don't have to do anything bad for that. And it's interesting because I've never compared the lifespan of Christianity to a potential lifespan of Bitcoin. That's a fascinating comparison because it has so many aspects of it. Like, we come together on Bitcoin meetups. We are very religious about what Bitcoin actually is. And I think it would not work as money if it didn't have those aspects. You need
100%.
true believers. You need people that stay their ground. There was a recently an old friend of mine here, and he was like, "Oh, like Bitcoin doesn't work because of this and that, and you're just so religious about it." And I'm like, okay, like, what does work? Like, Fiat clearly can't be the thing. And he talked about Monero, and I was like, okay, the like, fine, but like, why are you so in Monero? And he's like, oh, here X was that, here X was that reason. And then I asked him a very simple question, and he almost got offended by it. I'm like, don't mention any specific numbers, but like, how much are you into Monero? Like, how much do you hold? He's like, I don't hold anything in Monero. So I'm like, you're not for Monero, clearly. like if you would be for Monero, you wouldn't have money in Monero. And that's literally every single person that tells me about some shitcoin, because they're like, they are, for some reason, they think there's something wrong with Bitcoin because they missed it, and then they wanna tell you about some shitcoin they found, but they don't have the conviction to be even in there. Like, if you are 100% into Dogecoin and you really believe that and you ride it till the end, I respect that. I think you're an idiot, but I respect your idiocracy. As like, 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 I respect the hell out of you. But if you come around and say like, oh, like, I believe in that XRC coin, but I don't hold anything of it, like okay, if you don't go 100% in, okay, but like at least 50%. If you have a very strong conviction about something, wouldn't you want to benefit from it, or wouldn't you want to be in it? Like, like, how can I trust your opinion if you don't hold it yourself? Like what? Like, if I buy Monero because of you and you don't hold it and I get wrecked, like, what? That does not make sense. And so I think often Bitcoiners get attacked because they're so religious and so strong and they are 100% in. And people even come to me and say, you're just talking about Bitcoin so positively because you own a bunch. No, you got it reversed. I own a bunch because I believe in it so heavily. It's not because I own so much that I believe in it. Like, the believing and the conviction and the education comes before the owning, obviously. Like, I'm not like, yeah, just like buy 100% of Bitcoin. Oh wait, what is it even? Like, I'm not I'm not stupid. And so I think this is what I thought about with your point about Christianity. If you don't have people that 100% believe in it, no matter how often they get attacked, no matter how often they get ridiculed or get made jokes about, or, I mean, we don't have that in Bitcoin, but like, get thrown stones at it, get thrown in, like, those things in with Christianity that we had in history. I think if you don't have those people, you don't have what it takes to overthrow this fiat system. And we need those people. And yeah, that's I think all I have to say. I think it's very important to stand up for something and like, stand your ground, like, here and not more, like, all those things.
Man, 100%, Robin. And you know what? You made so many good points there. And you know what? In a way, we do get stones thrown at us because the modern form of stones is slander and social media and guys like, Peter Schiff on X, right? I mean, truly, we are persecuted as Bitcoiners. And like you said, here's the thing, the world is so soft now where, oh, you can't have an argument, or you got to be well liked and everything. Like, again, for systems to be overthrown and have another system replace it. God, man, I love the New Testament is just so filled with wisdom, and it so pertains to things like what we're doing here when you're 100% convicted behind something, because it so often mentions the early Christians and just encouraging them that you're literally going to be slaughtered for righteousness, like what they believe is righteousness, right? You know what you're doing is right, and you're going to get nothing but hate and discontent for it. Revel in it, like revel in it, rejoice in it, because what does it mean to be like, say you do something wrong and you get punished? Like, you did something wrong and you got punished for it. There's no real righteousness in that. But what if you're doing something right and you're getting punished for it? That's righteousness. That's when you rejoice. That's where you get that deep conviction. So I actually enjoy now when I get into heated, and I don't like to argue. I just like to know the facts and win the debate and be so convicted that even when you're throwing stones at me, like you mentioned all these altcoins, right? This is why the Bitcoin standard is so important to read, because it gives you such solid fundamentals. When you understand salability, and just if you understand these two things, salability, that scales space and time, makes perfect money, and then you under stock to flow ratio, right? It's as simple as essentially how much of something do you have, and then how much is flowing into it. And if you already have this stock and very little is flowing into it, that's very valuable. Like, that's again perfect money, which Bitcoin's perfect money, because in 100 years there's literally zero flow. It's like unbelievable how this whole thing was thought up. When somebody brings up anything else, right? Whether it's gold, whether it's Monero, XRP, Fiat, right? And start making an argument for it, you just go down the list. You go, okay, so what's the scales? What's the space? What's the time? And then you look at what's the stock and what's the flow. And Robin, I have never been in a, let's call it a debate against any altcoin or any other monetary system where I finally just ran into something and I go, there it is, right? Like, somebody brings up an altcoin, first thing I check, I go, does it have proof of work? That wipes out 99% of them, right? They don't have proof of work. They don't have any mining system that's actually protecting it and making it basically immutable, right? So boom, that wipes out like 99%. There is a few actually, like Dogecoin, I believe is still proof of work. So it's like, okay, all right, I'll give you that, Dogecoiners. But then what do? You go to the stock to flow. Okay, does it have a cap on how many Dogecoins you can create? And the answer is no. Boom, gotcha. You never will lose with Bitcoin because you have something that is, again, it's perfect. It is when it comes to the um, use case of money. You can't possibly, you can be fully convicted, and if you at least understand the Bitcoin standard, like the actual mechanics of it, man, they can throw stones at you all they want. You're just gonna probably make them angry to the point where they cry, because what happens is they reach a point where they're wrong, and then you just get personally insulted, and then they go away, and then hopefully they think about it, and then hopefully they convert, and then when they convert, you do what? You say, "Welcome, brother. I love you. Thanks for good to have you." Don't ever. That's when you have the humility. This is important to add, because I think as Bitcoiners, you can fail to have humility. It's when you finally get that brother and sister that comes back, says, "I want to know more." Yes, you were right. You say, "No, I'm not right. It's Bitcoin that's right. I'm just the disciple, man. It's the Bitcoin that's the guy." And before we run out of time, Robin, I did want to diss on gold, because gold has made an awesome run in the last year. You got guys like, of course, Peter Schiff and all these gold bugs, and this big push that everything should be on the gold standard again and tie everything back into gold. Here's the thing. Every civilization on the gold standard collapses, because gold inevitably is indeed time and stores value, but because it has no divisibility and because you can't transport it easily, it has to be custodianed. So inevitably, you have to custodian it and then issue some type of fiat currency on it. And then now you have what? You've lost the trust, because you have to rely on trust. It's a trust. It's a system of trust that will always fail. And in fact, this is also probably the most important point I can make today is, if the gold standard wins out, Robin, it would be in my opinion, devastating for civilization, because what happens on the gold standard, and this is explained in the Bitcoin standard, is you get about 40 years of sound monetary systems, because you have a people trust the gold standard for about 30, 40 years. This happened in 1871 to 1914, interestingly enough. The world was on a gold standard. Civilization thrived roughly from 1871 to 1914. Then what happens? Eventually, because people get complacent, the plebs, right? That the people who control the gold and the money behind the gold, the fiat, they start running that printer and they start fractional reserve banking. And then you had what? World War One, World War Two, right? The 70s, where you finally just disconnect from you get about 120-year cycles, but these gold cycles where 40 years is flourishing and 80 years is devastating. It happened in China in 1260. The Yuan dynasty did their gold standard and it ended up collapsing, right? The children were also, and it always ends in one thing. The gold standard always ends in children sold into debt slavery. That is the sentence everyone needs to remember. The gold standard always always ends in children sold into debt slavery every time. So that's why, and I'm just loving dissing on Peter Schiff. When he's dissing on Bitcoin and promoting gold, he might be just ignorant or he's trolling. But either way, for anyone who is thinking that they're righteous or that their intentions are good for wanting society to go on a gold standard, whether they know it or not, they're condemning civilization to be in the same cycle for about 120 years. It's literally devastating. Gold is growth limiting. There's just the evidence is done. We've done it. It was the best when there wasn't Bitcoin. I know there's people out there who are Bitcoiners that are in the financial industry that have to deal in gold for their clients. If you're just a disciple of Bitcoin and you don't need to be involved in any gold away, I'm here to throw stones at it. I'm here to call it bad names. And to me, it's just another altcoin that when I go down the list fails against Bitcoin 100%. This is the long game, Robin. This is disciples setting up the thousands and 10,000s of years of society for our grandchildren and the people after us that will have beautiful, flourishing lives. Dude, our lives are going to be brutal, Robin. It's just the truth. They are. We're in a time of collapse. Your whole life and my whole life will be the time of Jesus. Just war, collapse, pain, suffering. But that's when change happens. That's when opportunities happen. That's when systems improve once old systems collapse. And this is now just my religious belief. We're all here choosing to be here in a time when we choose to be here. So we're all going to play our part in it. And to play the part of a Bitcoiner, man, a true disciple, setting up this system, educating people on it and getting behind it 100%. It's my opinion that's a righteous life. And I can do a lot better. It's a call to arms for me to do a lot better. But damn, that fiat currency, man, that fiat standard, once it infects you, it's like a virus. It makes you sick. And I'm still working on curing my sickness.
The times where strong men are forged. It's, I think, about to come. We have way too soft of a society. People don't want to take responsibility. People are just asleep, and it's time. As Bram Constant just said it in the previous podcast that was launched, this one, wake the F up. Like, it's super important to do that now. But yeah, it's been another amazing time. I don't even know if we did it now like 2, 3, or 4 times. It's been amazing always to talk with you. So thank you so much for being so gracious with your time and with your insights. As you might know from the previous conversations, we have an end routine in the podcast where the previous guest is asking a question for the next guest without knowing who the next guest actually is. And the previous guest asked you the question, what is your spiciest take on Bitcoin that you think most won't agree with?
Oh man, absolutely. And I think this was the perfect podcast for it, right? Because the spiciest take is truly when I talked about Paul, the apostle, right? For Christianity. I mean, a guy literally going around, walking into towns, telling everybody, I don't care what you believe in, it's wrong. This is what's right. And let's get started, baby. Get those stones loaded up, strip me down butt naked and start whipping me. because I'm just gonna sit here and just sound off my conviction on what is right. Robin's like, "Oh my god, is this episode even gonna get like banned by YouTube?" If you edit it, I totally get it. But this is the spiciest thing possible in Bitcoin. The spiciest Bitcoiner, dude, you want to live a spicy Bitcoin life? Literally go around like Paul. And whatever it is that anyone's investing in, whatever it is that anybody's using as money, like look them dead in the eyes and be like, call that whatever they're doing, wrong. And and that is just a path of destruction and it's fiat stupidity. Explain all the reasons why that is, and then just get behind Bitcoin 100%, and then just let the ammo and the stones start flying, and just rejoice in that and stay behind you. Have conviction 100%. I can't think of a spicier way to be a Bitcoiner than to go around and just be a total zealot apostle, to get converts and to stand up for and it works. I know there's a lot of, oh well, that's not how you get people. It's like, well, actually, again, there's a system that's been around 2000 years, and the guy that founded it, that's what he did. So the evidence says it does work, right? Again, so long as there's the humility. Just to have fun, if you also want to be a spicy Bitcoiner and a degenerate at the same time, then yeah, get into all the leveraging, get into MSTR, get into whatever leverages Bitcoin in terms of fiat. You really want to live a spicy life where you feel like you're on a roller coaster of highs and lows and gut churning. And if you really want to get burned out on fiat, get into that. And that's very spicy too, because man, you'll be in the boiling pot with that. So leverage Bitcoin if you want a spicy little life, or get behind it. And this is the more beautiful spice. This is like the tasty spice. Get behind it with 100% conviction, just like the Apostle Paul did, and let the stones fly, man. You'll be in further ride of your life either way. I recommend the latter. It's noble.
It's a very beautiful thing, the latter one. Just like be there, stand up for what you believe in. So thank you so much, Derek, for being there for us and standing in the ground for Bitcoin and all the things that you're doing. Before I let you go, where can people find you, ask you questions, and reach out to you?
Oh yeah, thank you, Robin. Hey, just happy for people to always focus all their efforts on your podcast, because you're the best, man. And just if you do have a little extra time, or you just want to find me on TikTok mostly, Vital Command, VITALCOMMAND. You could shoot me a message or reach out to me there if you're interested in a conversation. So that's how you could find me, and that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Derek, for being on the podcast. And also thank you so much for everyone that is watching and listening, for joining us today. As always, I'll be back. This content is for educational and entertainment purposes only and does not constitute financial advice.